gentlemen, Mr. McDonald Carey.
Hollywood is not a place, it's a state of mind. All over the world, the word Hollywood denotes the American movie industry. It's a magic word that carries with it visions of glamour, excitement, and a fabulous way of life. Hollywood's famous symbols have become legendary. Her studios have grown from cracker boxes to sprawling giants. Techniques have changed. Progress has been made. But from the days of the silence to sound to cinemascope, the commodity has remained constant. Hollywood has always been in the business of selling entertainment. With all due respect to producers, directors, writers, and that vast army of skilled technicians, Movieland's best salesmen have been the stars. Fans always have and will continue to insist on glamorous personalities to identify with and to idolize. In the 65 years since Thomas Edison gave us moving pictures, the stars have been most responsible for transforming his invention into an art and an industry. They have long deserved a Hall of Fame. Now at last, they have one. Just a few high-speed miles out of Hollywood is a new building, and there's nothing like it on the face of the earth. Our destination is only a few minutes from Disneyland, and it's so close to Knott's Berry Farm, Buster Keaton could hit it with a cream pie. Movieland Wax Museum, a shrine to the great stars of the motion picture industry, past and present. It's a tribute to the world-famous performers who have made people everywhere laugh and cry and wonder at the magic of the film capital of the world, Hollywood. The dedication plaque says, dedicated May 4th, 1962, to the artists of the entertainment industry who, through their talents and efforts, have contributed so much to the enjoyment and understanding of the people of the world. It's signed Mary Pickford. The entrance to Movieland Museum can be compared to a time machine. Any person crossing the threshold can experience the highlights and thrills of visiting half a century of movie sound stages on their busiest days. Inside are living likenesses in wax of the greatest entertainers of our time, the immortals of the silver screen, captured forever in the exact wardrobe and authentic movie sets of their most outstanding roles. David Wark Griffith changed the Nickelodeon flickers into pictures of significance and influence. He produced and directed such early masterpieces as Birth of a Nation and Intolerance. He and his cameraman, Billy Bitzer, were the first to use the device of the close-up and the fade-out. The fabulous Marx Brothers, Groucho, Chico, and Harpo. This is a scene from their 1930 hit, Animal Crackers. These wonderful figures were created by the talented hands of master craftsmen from the four corners of the earth: Hong Kong, Hollywood, Spain, Mexico, and France. The scene in the bombed-out church is one of the most dramatic moments in the picture Two Women, starring Sophia Loren and Eleanor Brown. This dress was donated personally by Miss Loren to Movieland. It's the actual dress she wore in the picture. Her sensitive performance won her the Academy Award for the Best Actress of 1961 in this Vittorio De Sica production. While Sophia Loren was here for the Academy Awards, she came to Movieland Wax Museum and unveiled her set in person. In 1934, Myrna Loy and William Powell made the original Thin Man, a grand mixture of sophistication, mirth, and murder. The picture was a hit, so they made a whole series of Thin Man movies. Any of their fans could tell you even today their little dog's name was Asta. On a recent visit to Movieland Wax Museum, Miss Loy was emotionally moved on seeing her beloved canine co-worker. Something in the air of the early 30s made audiences eager to accept and believe occult and supernatural horrors. Bela Lugosi became a star in Dracula, and the success of this 1931 chiller sent all the studios on a wild search through Edgar Allan Poe, Robert Louis Stevenson, and other classic horror tales. The victim here is Helen Chandler, the first of many young lovelies to fall prey to fiendish monsters in the rash of horror films that were to follow. In 1932, MGM assembled 3 Barrymores, Lionel, Ethel, and John, for Rasputin and the Empress. It was lavish, exciting, and reasonably factual in the account of Rasputin's assassination and the downfall of the Russian imperial family. Even though the events depicted were true, the widow of one of Rasputin's assassins won a lawsuit in British courts. She received an immense settlement, and the film was withdrawn from circulation. One of the most sultry sirens of the 30s was the one and only Jean Harlow. This is a scene from the motion picture version of the Broadway success, Dinner at 8. Years of research and more than $1.5 million were spent on the figures, sets, wardrobe, and accessories to make this museum possible. No detail was too trivial. Even this Liberty magazine and the Literary Digest magazine are the correct issue. Nothing has been overlooked to bring your memories to life. Here are 2 famous movie stars who both started on the Broadway stage. Their outstanding performances in pictures earned an Academy Award for each of them. Katharine Hepburn received hers in 1932 for Morning Glory, and Humphrey Bogart won his Oscar in 1951 for his fine performance in this picture, The African Queen. Movieland Wax Museum has nearly 100 of the screen's greatest stars in their most unforgettable roles, and more are being added all the time. Of all the Western stars who ever galloped across the screen, William S. Hart is probably the most important. He brought a realism and rugged poetry to the horse opera, which by the time he arrived on the scene was dying. Dying in its own cliches. His Westerns had a documentary-like flavor unequaled even today. When Bill Hart rode out, Tom Mix came galloping on the scene with energy, escapism, and most of all, showmanship. He had a popularity and box office value equaled by no other star. During the 20s, his pictures literally made Fox Studios. Roy Rogers is the current king of the cowboys. He's carrying on in the tradition of Ken Maynard, Buck Jones, Gene Autry, Hoot Gibson, and all the other knights of the saddle who've ridden on the scene and off again. The transition from Western heroes to the bedchambers of King Henry VIII can be accomplished by a turn of the head in this wonderful shrine to the stars. The lavish wardrobe worn by this figure of Charles Laughton cost $2,500 and is an exact duplicate of the costuming worn in the film. We still have dozens of great stars to see, but before we continue, let's go behind the scenes and meet the founder of this unique monument to Movieland. Alan Parkinson made his fortune, then retired from business. He doesn't consider Movieland Wax Museum a business at all. With him, it's a labor of love. When he was just a boy, sitting in the balcony of his neighborhood theater, he was an avid movie fan, and he still is today. He's immensely proud of his dream come true. But to Alan Parkinson, his museum will never be finished. He keeps adding new stars because, as he puts it, they deserve the lasting tribute. The most talented art directors in Hollywood design the sets here at Movieland. They're working on such future projects as Ben-Hur, Spartacus, Fugitive from a Chain Gang, The Alamo, and many others.